It's an old heritage building and a Centertown landmark. Partly that's because of its appearance. Symmetrical, with big garage doors and a curved overhang. For a long time, it was painted mustard yellow. I call it a landmark also, though, because of how it's influenced the imaginations of all of the people who walk by. Sitting empty for 15 years, the building on Flora Street was fodder for dreams. An art gallery, loft apartments, a music venue. Everyone had a vision for what they would do with the space, Dave Longbottom included. 18 months ago, he bought the building, and he spent the last year renovating and reviving it down to the last detail. Recently, it opened to the public as Flora Hall Brewing. I dropped by and I asked Dave to tell me what it was about the building that captivated him.
I'm from Ottawa. I was born here, been here for most of my life, and this building has always appealed to me. The facade has got something unique about it. It had perfect symmetry. It was almost calling out to be used for something, and I've spent the last 12 months standing outside as the construction has proceeded, and people have walked up and shared their dreams for this building, ranging from things as crazy as a circuit school to things more pedestrian like a weight room or a lawyer's offices or whatever. But I think it's got its perfect purpose right here as a neighborhood gathering spot, a brewery, a restaurant, a kitchen, almost a community center for Centertown.
Can you tell me a little bit about the history of the building?
Yeah, so the building was constructed in 1927, and it was built by Welch & Johnson Engineering. It's a company that had, I think, most of this block as part of their business. They were here from the 20s to the 70s, and I think they used it as a mixed-use kind of office, warehouse. So that was what it was until the 70s. And then I understand, again, from talking to all these neighbors walking by, it had a notorious period as a motorcycle repair garage. It had a few years as an automotive garage. But then when I bought it, it had sat derelict and empty for 15 years, something that needs to change in Ottawa. More of these buildings need to be repurposed and revived, and that's been one of the greatest pleasures of this project.
So people can't see what we're standing in front of right now, but can you describe what's through these doors here?
I can. This is the playground of my brewmaster, Rod Hughes. And it's a space that's surrounded by a glass wall that allows our customers to interact with the brewery. It was installed in the last few months, and it's had its first use under the hands of brewmaster Rod Hughes, who I brought out from Vancouver. He brought his brewing assistant with him. So, as a small aside, this is happening, right? People in Vancouver are moving east because it's an awesome place to be. Ottawa's a great city. He's bringing his young family back here to raise them. And it's a 15-barrel brew house that allows us to brew 5 or 6 different beers at any given time. So when you come in here, you'll expect to see 5 beers from us, maybe a couple of guest taps, some ciders, and some other drinks. But when I was forming the business, it was very clear that in this building that we would be able to showcase it as part of the environment and the atmosphere. And so that's what we've done. It's beautifully lit, and I'm hoping that people, when they're enjoying those pints, they can enjoy the backdrop.
The lighting is huge here, isn't it? It's such an element of the mood.
I think lighting is hugely important. We've had lots of help with this project, needless to say. I've also sort of paired it up with things like underfloor heating to welcome the customer in and give them some love.
Let's go upstairs.
All right. So we're going to walk down through the grand hall of Flora Hall. It's a concrete floor that they literally polished for 6 days. It's hard to believe. We're walking up a staircase here that was built by a welder from Gracefield, Quebec, meticulously created out of raw steel. I tried to add finishings and features like this that you might imagine were here. They're built out of the same material that I found when I bought the building. They're built in a style that is reminiscent of maybe a warehouse of the 20s, and I've been happy to find that some people have come in and asked me, like, were those stairs here, Dave? Were those stairs? Did you add those stairs? That's exactly what we're trying to create. So as we walk up the stairs and we're at the landing, we're now going to walk onto the mezzanine, which is a beautiful level with a different feel than the downstairs area. And we're stepping onto some floors here that are literally the same age as the building. I found them under plywood and an inch of residue from the 90 years of life of this building.
You just uncovered these floors. They're beautiful.
I uncovered them and then scraped them. I had a hardwood guy in who gave up after 15 minutes of sanding and said, I can't do it with my power sander. You're going to have to get new floors. And I looked at him and I said, Camille, I think we can make this work. I found 2 young guys with more energy than me to get down their hands and knees and scrape for 10 hours. And what was revealed was this kind of amazing looking patina from, like I say, 90 years of life. And we just varnished it with several layers of clear coat. And this is what we're left with. You've got a beautiful view of the brewery that we talked about a little earlier. So what I've tried to do in this space, and I really do, this is fundamental, is that different types of seating for different people. Some people love to sit at the bar. Some people love to stand at the bar. Some people love to sit down low. And some people are attracted to these communal tables that are down there. You know, I'm looking down at these communal tables, and it brings to mind another thing. I tried to use, everywhere I could, I tried to use local craftspeople to build and to contribute to this project. So the tables were built by a local musician, Ian Manhire, punk rocker from the White Wires. Our menus were made by a leather maker up in Chelsea, James Michael Brooks, who builds, makes beautiful bags and belts. I'm just going to pull one up here so that I can look at it while I'm talking about it. But it's this beautiful kind of handcrafted leather menu cover that itself will age with the building.
Let's talk about the food. You've got a menu in your hand.
Yeah, so the food is made by Lynette and her crew in the kitchen, and it's we're both of the view that food should be simple but delicious. It should be spiced in an interesting way. It should be easy to consume. It should not interfere with the socializing. Instead of a large burger, you're going to get a plate of 3 sliders. Instead of a big steak, you're going to get maybe that beautiful braised beef mixed in a salad and easy to consume or easy to share. So right now there's a bit of a Spanish theme going on in the menu, but by no means will that stay. It'll always have that common theme, and that is it's snack food, it's comfort food, it's and everything made from scratch.
You mentioned a few minutes ago the fact that this was a building that sat empty for so long and that it felt like a shame to you.
Yeah.
How do you see this as an example maybe of the potential that certain heritage buildings in Ottawa hold?
It's something that I'd love anybody who's aspires to develop a heritage building to come and look at, because there's something that you can not recreate from scratch. You have to take a building like this and extend its life or repurpose it in order to achieve, I think, the outcome that we've achieved here. If I built this from scratch, it would not look this way. So I absolutely believe the City of Ottawa should be more encouraging in this direction. They should compel people who are sitting on heritage properties to use them, to do something with them. Ottawa's a beautiful city. I love Ottawa with all of my heart, and I'd love to see more of these old buildings put to use, because that's what will add just another layer to this already awesome city. Yeah.
Dave, thanks for talking to me.
Thank you. My pleasure.
That's my conversation with Dave Longbottom, owner and founder of Flora Hall Brewing in the restored Heritage Building at 37 Flora Street. The brewery and kitchen is now open to the public.